Hey there, guitarists. If you're watching us, you're probably interested in the MSU Denver guitar program, of which I am the chair. My name is Alex Komodore. I've been directing the guitar program at Metro since 1985. Now, there's two different kinds of guitar programs you can enter at our school. One is to play the classical guitar, which is my specialty, and we also have an amazing jazz guitar program here headed up by Dave Devine. So if you're interested in jazz guitar, you can certainly check out what the requirements are for that and maybe get a heads up from Dave Devine about that. So today I'm first going to talk about how you can contact me. You can call me anytime you want or text me at 303-521-4371 if you have questions about anything in this video or other questions related to getting into the program. I'm here to help at all times. You can also reach me by email, which is komodore@msudenver.edu. My last name is spelled Komodore. So on to the music. What does a classical guitar major do to get into a program? Well, usually at most universities, you have a few different things that you need to do to get in. One is to show ability to play scale-wise movement on the guitar. So when you have a classical guitar, scale-wise movement is quite complicated because you're using right-hand fingers that alternate in conjunction with your left-hand fingers. So something that you might be familiar with doing would be a simple open position scale with all the natural notes, which would sound something like this if I played it with a classical style. That scale, it's just the natural notes on the guitar, and I was alternating between my index and middle fingers, which is traditional. It's not as easy to do as it looks if you haven't used your right hand. You can certainly play more difficult scales. The standard for most schools is the Segovia scales, and the C major one goes like this. It's 2 octaves, and unlike the first one I showed you, which was open position, this is a closed position. Like that. Now, a closed position means that once you learn the scale, you could certainly move it up, say a whole step, and then have D major. So when you're playing the scales, what we're looking for is good sound, good tone throughout each of the notes so that they sound like what I call a string of pearls. You shouldn't have notes that are strong and weak. Scales should be sound strong on every note. So that's the number one thing that a lot of schools need. We're not so big on that from the standpoint that I don't think they're that hard to learn once you figure out how to get around with that right hand on the classical guitar. Now, to actually learn those scales and other things classical guitar, we offer a Class 1 and a Class 2, sometimes as a hybrid course at MSU Denver. The class guitar 1 and 2 are usually a lot of fun. We have anywhere between 6 to 20 people in those classes. And one of the main texts that we've been using out throughout many years is this solo guitar playing book by Frederick Node. Now, there's other books that we use, but this one is easily available. And the thing I like about it is right from the start, it starts from the very beginning, shows you the picture of the guitar, the whole 9 yards. And actually shows you how to read notes on the guitar. So notation on the guitar is not the same as tablature on the guitar. Everything that I'm going to play for you today is actually notated. So that particular book is excellent if you are a tablature reader guitarist and you want to learn more about how to read real notation. It's always a good idea. That way you're on the same page as every other musician you're playing with, be it a flute player or a singer or a pianist or whatever. You don't want to be that person that's quasi-illiterate and not understand the notes you're playing. So that's another reason classical guitar is excellent, is that we really read real notes all the time. So everything that we do is Western theoretically based, not tablature based. So if you're weak in that area, that book is excellent. Another series I highly recommend is what I'm going to read out of today. This is called the guitar series, the Royal Conservatory of Music Guitar edition, and this is the introductory level. There are 9 levels. This is the easiest level I'm going to play from today. And what I'm really concerned with when someone tries to come into the school is that they try to learn something that they could do, that they have fun with. It's not too difficult. And also the right hand and left hand fingerings can get quite tricky. That's another reason to take our classes. Most people that apply as a guitar major have either taken guitar class 1 and 2 or private lessons with an instructor. If you don't have one, I'd be happy to give you a free lesson or two, and I can recommend students that have graduated from the program or in the program that are excellent. They can help you get to your goal of getting in as a guitar major. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to play a few different short pieces from this guitar series, which are outlined in the requirements for getting into the program. And you would need to learn 2 of these songs or these pieces. They're all a little bit different. Each one has a different little thing, but they're really not that difficult to play. And I will play them for you right now. I'm going to actually go to, in this guitar series, we're going to start with a piece called, oddly enough, Exercise 13. In spite of the bad luck of that number, it's a good little piece to show scale movement and playing with the thumb in the right hand as well as the fingers alternating. So it goes something like this. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Just like that one. So in that piece, I was using my index and middle fingers to play the opening scale by alternating them, and that's clearly written in the music. That's a real aspect of classical guitar that's different than jazz guitar, is using all 4 of your fingers in the right hand. As you can see, I have long nails on my thumb and these 3 fingers. So we go over all that in the class, and of course a lot more with a private teacher. Next song up is called Moorish Dance. This is on page 10. The thing I like about the Moorish Dance is it's easy to learn the bass line. Once you get the bass line going, it's easy to inject the top 8th notes. And I'm going to play it kind of fast because it sounds cool like that. Moorish Dance by Aaron Shearer. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Okay, a few other pieces in the book that would certainly be acceptable. By the way, there's about 25 pieces in this first part of the book. I'm just suggesting that these are good possibilities. There are many other pieces you can practice and learn for the audition. Make sure you call me and I'll be happy to okay or tell you a suggestion is not appropriate, whatever. So these are just some good ones in this opening book. Next one up is called Torito by a composer with a great last name, Zenaman. And in this song, what it is it's basically a chord formation, and he just moves it up and down the neck like that. But what really makes the piece work is an arpeggio pattern of P, I, M, I. Those 3 fingers playing a 4-note pattern quite quickly so that you get this idea. Play like that on a classical guitar, you need to use these 3 fingers. So I'm going to play the Torito at about that speed. Here I go. Ready? Here I go. Okay, so then a couple of pieces by a famous Spanish composer, Julio Segreras. So Julio Segreras wrote many pieces for the guitar, what he called lessons. They're really like little studies. And this one I really like, number 46. It uses, again, an arpeggio pattern. P, or thumb, I, M, A, I, M. So the basic pattern is a 6-note pattern that goes like this. There are many types of patterns you can do on classical guitar to work your technique, but this one is very helpful. I'm just going to try it for you. You hear it has a nice minor sound. It's very short. 2, 3, 4. So it's basically like a chord progression, you know, A minor, E, E7, A minor, A7, D minor, E7, A minor. Very simple progression. What really makes it work is the clarity that you're playing with the right hand, and hopefully in that piece. Finally, one last one. This is lesson 61 by the same composer, Julio Segreras. Now remember again, this is the last song I'm going to play for you today. There are hundreds of guitar pieces that you can play to try to get an entrance into the program. I'm just selecting these 5 to show you a good kind of a overall synopsis of what different techniques can do on the easy level of the guitar. Of course, it gets much more difficult as you're staying in the program with much longer pieces and so on and so forth. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This is my last one for you, number 61 by Julio Segreras. So this one is kind of like a waltz. It uses basically a thumb, just like that. It's almost like a folk song, but he's using the thumb in this particular song to bring out a melody. So it's kind of cool. It goes about like this: 1, 2, 3.